Hello everybody, my name is Satria. For newcomers, I'm Satria. I'm a student from Eden Boarding Schools. I am a student on the class of programming. I've been tasked by my teachers to make up projects or presentations. For my English teachers, I chosen the topic History of Chess, a brief. That is, thank you for staying by and seeing my video and staying by. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a great evening, whatever you are doing. If you're on weekends, I hope you have wonderful weekends. So, what is chess? Chess is a board game of strategic skill for two players played on a chessboard. Each player begins the game with 16 pieces that are moved used to capture opposing pieces according to prize rules. The object there is to put the opponent king under a direct attack from which escape is impossible. Get it? So for sword, that is to make the opponent king checkmate. That's the famous line, that is checkmate. Next slide. The origin of chess. So chess was originated in India during the Gupta Empire. In the 16th century, was known as Chaturanga. Chess was known in 16th century in the Gupta Empire. Chaturanga translated as 4 divisions of military. Sound cool, right? So, what is 4 divisions of military? The 4 divisions of military, that is chivalry, infantry, infantry, and cavalry. So, in the modern era, it was known as pawn, bishops, knight, and rook. That is on the modern era. So, the next slide, chess was introduced in Persian Empire. How is that? Because they're neighbors. India and Persia was close by on the map, if you see on the globe. So, chess was introduced in the Persian Empire from India and become part of the policy of country educations. So, which part of educations? Because the Persians have those like nobles, nobles on the medieval era. So, educations was being brought to the nobles, to the medieval nobles from the Persian era. Because chess was very expensive on the medieval era. Because of that, Persians around the 600 of the name become Chatra, which subsequently evolved into Sartaj due to Arab Muslims lack of ch and g in native sounds. And the rules was developed further. Players start calling Shah as known as check, and Shahmat was known the king is helpless. That's what is translated on Persian. Shahmat, the king is helpless. So when the king was attacked and could not escape from attack, they shout Shahmat. This expression is presented in chess as they travel the other lands using the medieval routes. Like for tradings, tradings in the medieval era. There's a lot of traders and historians and poetry who love to travel to continents and continents using the medieval routes. So the next page, that is chess rules in Arab world. Chess rules in Arab worlds. After the 7th century of Islamic conquest of Persians, right, on the Arab Muslims, you listen on the last page that is. The Islamic conquest of Persian chess was introduced to the Arab world and the Muslim world. After the Islamic conquest of Persia, with the pieces largely keeping their Persian names according to some historians, literature books, chess was very famous amongst the elites, several elites of Arabs. Not just Arabs, not just several elites of Arabs. It was known and in Muslim worlds several elites and Muslim societies too. Chess was famous. So, because of that, Muslim societies, prince, caliphs, authors, leaders, poets, and doctors mastered the game of chess. Amazing, isn't it? Isn't it? Next page, there is chastening its roles as tactical simulations. That's the games based on its strategical type. So, because of the tactical simulations, it eventually became a rich source of poetic imaginary. A rich source of poetic imaginary, diplomats and coteries and use chess terms to describe political powers. Ruling caliphs become avid players themselves. Because of this kind of things, caliphs become players of chess themselves. One of the poetry that I've searched on Google, that is the Door of Verzinet by John. Carved in a man, time bowl, on a board blade of white, squares and make a move. Lama wearing, two hand, how playing, how mathematic. Your life, 8 squares, squares make. 64 is the years of my heart. Attack life, a game of edge. Parallelograms, curved only by the buttocks of the queens, the snack of the rider's horse, the bishop's pointy hat. It's one of the famous poetry that I've searched and I found it online. One of the historians of Muslims, a famous historians, not as historian too, as a geographers in the Muslim world, who were born in Baghdad, Iraq towards the end of the century, of the 19th century, consider the game a testament to human free will compared to the game of chance. This is the words of a famous historian and geographer Al-Masudi from the Muslim words. Consider the game as a testament to human free will compared to the game of chances like dice and monopoly. So, chess is a game of free wills, of human free wills, using intelligence and strategical predictions and types. Next page. This is the metaphor roots, how the game distribute and been introduced to continents and continents and continents and continents. So, let's start with India from the Gupta empires. This is India. They use this bombarding, going to Persia because they are neighbors, and they're going to China and using this metaphor routes for trading metaphors. They're going to Europe and Egypt, Somalia, and Jaffa, and going to the other Jaffa using the sea metaphor trading routes. They can go to the other continents from overseas. Like for example, this from Pacific Oceans from China, they can go to the other continents too. So that's how that is. So chess in China, because of the metaphor routes, basically that's how they introduce chess in China. So from basically, if I use my brain, from Persia, no, India, and India was neighbor of in China too because of the metaphor routes. So they can go from per India going to the state of Wu, and other state of China. So in China, chess pieces were placed at the intersections of board squares rather than inside of them, as in the native strategy game goes. Ethics. So basically, just culture, different culture of their strategic gameplay. Like for example, it's just like chess was in the Gupta Empire was like this, they just developed the chess in China, become their own chess way, like their own gameplay of chess in China. The next that is in the regions of Mongolia, Tamlan. So on the 11 x 10 board with safe square called Citadel. It was called Citadel in the region of Mongol leader of Tamerlane. In Japanese shogi, captured the pieces could be used by the opposing players. Like for example, if there is a opponent pieces, you eat the opponent pieces and you can steal the opponent pieces and use it for your own. So basically, just you stole the opponent pieces and use it for yourself. That's the basic. Chess in Europe. So this is the start of the modern chess. This is the start. In Europe, the chess began to take on its modern form by the 1000 AD. The game became partly educations. Chess was used as an allegory for any different classes performing their proper roles, and the pieces were reinterpreted for their new context. Prestigiously, pastime escaped in the medieval era. Nobility. Noble love to execute it. Noble love to talk with other nobles, and nobles love to think because they're nobles. A noble love ethics and famous things. And because chess was very expensive in the medieval era, and so it's become famous because noble love expensive stuff. This was the reason too. But one of the reasons that is booming on the noble in Europe, chess was used as poetry, as political, diplomatic, and the other kind of thing too that I just said. So the social attached to the game seen as a culture is clear from the expensive extremely made of the chessboard in Novera. The popularity of the chess in Western country of Cartolese society peaked between the 20th century go peak to the 15th century. That's why chess was booming in Europe, because Europe is very big. It's a big continent. Have a lot of neighbors, right? Europe is very big. It become very booming, skyrocket like rockets boom from 20th century to 15th century. The game was found mentioned in the vernacular and Latin language literature throughout the Europe, and many works were written on or about chess between the 20th century and the 15th centuries. Next page, that is the birth of sports. The birth of sports was started in 1815 years to 1945 years. The first modern chess tournament was held in London, basically in Europe, in 1851 years, and won supposedly by German Adolf Anderssen, who was relatively known at the time. Anderssen was hailed as the leading chess master, for the first championship of the bird of sport of chess, and because of Anderssen was held energetic as master of chess because his brilliant of energetic attacking style become a typical and very famous for the time. Ethically, it was rhetorically regarded as strategically shallow. Sparklingly, the game, like Anderssen Immortal game, and Everton game of Morphy Opera game, were regarded as the highest possibly summit of the chess art. So, how does AI start? How does chess AI start? So, I'm going to introduce you a short history of AI chess that's been written in the history of AI chess. it's just a short, brief history of AI chess. So, Gary Kasparov, he was a famous sitting champion that known for his predictions and gameplay of chess. He contributed for the first time a human versus AI chess play. Gary Kasparov versus the first chess AI, Deep Blue. Because they evolved and evolved between centuries, AI been evolved, it become an AI chess that is been named Deep Blue in 1990 years ago. It was the first time a Turing machine defeat a sitting champion, Gary Kasparov. Gary Kasparov defeated by an AI Deep Blue, a sitting champion. It was a shocking news that being broadcast by TV or radio, because a first time a human lose to an AI. But the next thing, today AI chess. How was today AI chess? Become easy, right? Because the level been decreased. Today AI chess, it's become decreased because there's a lot of famous players being defeated by an AI chess. So they make a level of it, like level 1 to level 100s. Today chess software is able to constantly beat like the best human players just as much as the game they are good at. So machines still a product of human. Machine still is a product of human. We just need to program it and make it like level 1 or what kind of level you want. So ingenuity and perhaps that same ingenuity will guide us out of this apparent checkmate. So thank you for watching my presentations. I'm sorry if I pronounce wrong words and if I make mistake. I'm sorry. So thank you for listening and staying by on my channel. I hope you could stay by again. So thank you for watching and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.